Hello, welcome back to Seekism. In this episode, we will be discussing Marvel's Blade, or lack thereof. Mahershala Ali, apologies, has been speaking whilst promoting Jurassic World Rebirth that comes out next week, I believe. And essentially, he said, it's still on, it's still in situ, which we've heard before many times. Sort of digesting why this film is taking so long to get together, and also some interesting comments from David S. Goyer, the writer of the Dark Knight films, predominantly or in part responsible for the Dark Knight films in terms of the script. So interesting comments from him. So we'll get into it, but we'll start with Mahershala, what he's been saying whilst promoting Jurassic World Rebirth, as I said. Marvel's Blade's Mahershala Ali is ready to film the MCU movie. Mahershala Ali, who will play the eponymous character in the MCU's Blade, has issued a message from Marvel claiming that he is ready to film the highly anticipated movie. Blade has been caught in the development limbo for a long time and was removed from the release schedule in October 2024. It's actually been removed a few times before that as well. Remember, it was announced in 2019 at the Comic-Con that he was going to be playing Blade, and we've only heard him at the post-credits of Eternals. So nothing so far. And we've actually had a subsequent Blade with Wesley Snipes coming back in Deadpool Wolverine. So, yeah, interesting times with regards to Blade. But however, the more recent update suggested that the project might be going forward at Marvel Studios, so maybe they finally cracked it after we've had 4 or 5 different writers have a go at it. Mahershala Ali on Marvel's Blade would start filming, made an appearance at the New York premiere of Jurassic World Rebirth, and expressed interest in starting production. I bet he is. Call Marvel, he told Variety. I'm ready. Let them know I'm ready. So that's short and sweet. I won't play the video. Blade has become one of the most troubled projects in the entire MCU franchise. Marvel Studios' Kevin Feige originally announced Ali's casting as the vampire hunter at the San Diego Comic-Con in 2019. There you go, fact check right. In the following years, several filmmakers, including the likes of Bassam Tariq and Jan Demanga, apologies if that's wrong, any of those, boarded the project only to exit later. At one point, it has a release date of November 7th, 2025. After several delays, however, it was taken off the MCU release schedule in October 2024. In November 2024, Feige gave a positive update about Blade at Disney's D23 Brazil event. He said that Marvel loved the character and Ali's take on it. Feige added, and rest assured, whenever we change direction with a project, or we are still trying to figure out how it fits into our schedule, we let the public know. You're up to date with what's going on, but I can tell you that the character will be coming to the MCU. Recently, screenwriter and filmmaker David S. Goyer, blah blah blah, and that's what leads me to David S. Goyer reached out to Marvel Studios about his troubled Blade reboot and got a surprising response. It's been 6 years. Sorry, I'm just going to read verbatim. David S. Goyer, who wrote the original Blade trilogy, let's not forget, and in a new interview reveals that he offered Marvel Studios his assistance in figuring out the planned reboot starring Mahershala Ali. It's been 6 years since Mahershala Ali walked out on stage. 6 years. That's crazy. At Comic-Con, wearing a Blade hat, in front of thousands of rabid fans, the Oscar winner revealed he'd been cast as the MCU's Daywalker. Since then, the movie has been through multiple creative teams and has even lost some cast members. Sets were built at one stage, including for an elaborate action sequence atop a train. Wow, okay. But Blade hasn't come anywhere close to becoming a reality, and honestly it feels like it might never happen. Talking to Variety, Batman Begins writer David S. Goyer revealed he had offered to help Marvel Studios. Why? Goyer wrote Blade and Blade 2, and ultimately directed the critically panned Blade Trinity. That's an awful film. It's so funny, about 8 months ago, when not the latest hiccup hit, but like the prior hiccup, I had so many people that would say to me, dude, would you get in there on Blade? Would you just get in there? Whether it be friends or fans or people on social media? And I wasn't even really thinking about it. But then I had my agent call Marvel and say, hey, do you guys need any help? And they said, we love you, but we think we've cracked it now and we're in a good place, he continued. And then the latest thing happened, and so no, they haven't contacted me. Admitting he doesn't know the behind the scenes of it all, Goyer did admit he remains open to offering Marvel Studios his assistance should Feige change his mind. It's worth noting at this point that 8 months since Goyer's services were declined, the studio appears to be no closer to bringing Blade to the big screen, unless the plan is to skip his solo movie and go straight to Midnight Suns. I might consider it because I love the character and it sort of started my superhero career, Goyer said. Even though I'm now considered a DC guy, I started as a Marvel guy. I would consider it. It would be fun to return to that world. That being said, I'm pretty much otherwise 99% done with superheroes. I love this stuff, I watch all the movies, but I've just done so much in the world. But yeah, I would consider it just for old time's sake. So, that's interesting. The fact that he reached out to Marvel and they said, no, we've cracked it. But that was 8 months ago, which would have been sort of when they had cancelled it in October 2024. That lines up because it's June now. What are we doing with Blade? It seems like such a simple thing to get right. I don't understand why this character is so difficult to get right. With regards to Mahershala Ali, he's perfect as Blade. The issue now, 6 years on, is that he's not getting any younger. He is in his 50s. I mean, I don't want to be detrimental to the guy. He is, I believe, in his 50s. So we're not talking a young, but then again, I just saw Wesley Snipes, who I'm going to guess is probably close to his 60s, if not already in it, do it in Deadpool Wolverine and do it relatively convincingly. People are going to hate me for saying that. But I think Mahershala Ali is the guy. He's definitely the guy to take on the role. Why they can't crack this is beyond me. It seems like such a cheap film to do, and I don't want to say that in a detrimental way. It seems like such a film that would require the least amount of budget involved. So it can't be a budgetary thing. That Marvel simply aren't just gambling on films anymore, because Blade is a hugely popular character. I don't think there's any problems seeing return on investment for making a Blade film, and I really don't see why you have to spend so much money on making one either. So if it's a gamble thing, then fine. If it's a script thing, which I think it probably is, why you can't get that right either? You don't have to tread on old ground, but what are we doing? It's Blade. It's Blade. There's so much source material for him. I don't understand why you can't do a stripped down. I heard a pitch last year or the year before. I don't know, whenever this conversation comes up, because this sort of story comes out every few months where Blade is now on hold, or Blade is delayed, or Blade is cancelled, etc, etc, etc. Mahershala Ali still wants to play him. Those stories rear their head every few months. The one pitch I heard was, imagine Dredd, 2014's Dredd, but a Blade version of that. So it's a contained story within, I don't know, a building, tower block, for example. But it's a contained story with Blade, basically trying to fight off a gang lord of vampires, let's say, and he's trying to help the people that I think that's a good premise for a story. I haven't embellished it more than that. That's the pitch I heard somewhere, and I can't remember where, but I really dug that pitch, and I thought that can't be that expensive to film either, or to get right. And it would show Blade off. You could even do it as one of those Marvel showcases. I don't see why you can't do that. But maybe Mahershala Ali's got a cinematic contract and there's a legal issue. I don't know. Yeah, maybe Mahershala Ali's contract is a cinematic one and they can't get around that. I don't know. I just think in the end it's a shame. It's a real shame. I had heard the original pitch from Marvel was that they wanted Blade to be sort of a mentor figure. And Mahershala Ali was pushing back on that premise. I heard that that's a rumor. I don't want to say that's fact because I remember hearing it. But if true, it is, I don't want to say Mahershala Ali is the problem, but certainly the relationship between Marvel and Mahershala Ali seems to be the problem with this movie. Not being able to get off the ground, or them being able to agree a script to go, have Go Picture on it and go begin filming. It's interesting. I think it's a massive shame. I think the character has a massive built-in fan base. The they're itching to see him join the MCU properly. I think Wesley Snipes, although it was a fun sort of cameo, I don't think he's somebody who, I mean, I dug seeing him in Deadpool Wolverine, but I'm much more excited seeing Mahershala Ali play that role in a Secret Wars, for example. And that might be what's happening now. It might just be Mahershala Ali is inserted into Secret Wars as a sort of, I don't want to say glorified cameo, but certainly someone to, you know, be the Blade going forward. And like that article says, there's no solo film now. He's going to be a part of a team up. He's going to be sort of like a, you know, a Hulk who just pops up. He's not got his own projects for, you know, for various reasons, but someone who just pops into films, becomes one of the cast, and then you get other characters bouncing off of Mahershala Ali's Blade. I guess that's fine, but I don't see why he can't have his own solo project either. It seems so simple to sort out. And that dark side of the Marvel Universe, I think, would be a really wise move to start to have your side projects in that. You know, we've seen the magical side with the Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch. I think we've saw glimpses of the sort of the darker side of that universe. You know, the Midnight Suns style area, sort of with Doctor Strange, but mostly with Werewolf by Night, and that which was really good, by the way. Anyone who hasn't seen Werewolf by Night on Disney Plus, check it out. It's really good. Watch the black and white version though, not the color. That's my recommendation. But yeah, Blade fits massively into that, and you know, Ghost Rider. And other characters that will fit right into that universe. And so, yeah, I could, you know, that would be an interesting area for them to veer in, probably post Secret Wars. But I would advocate for them doing that. Anyway, rant over. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please leave me a like or subscribe if you so please. It really helps the channel. Let me know in the comments, like I said, if you agree or disagree with my takes. If you've got a better pitch, by the way, send that through as well. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.